Here's a couple of problems to try out the ideas of more complicated three-dimensional problems dealing with lateral area, surface area, and volume. First one says, find the surface area of a sphere with a volume of 288 pi. Now we know that the surface area we're looking for falls under the formula 4 pi r squared. That's what we want to solve for, but we don't know the r, so we're going to have to solve for r first. What it gives us is that the volume is 288 pi. Okay, well, I also know that volume is the formula for thirds pi r cubed. So if both of these values are equal to the volume of a sphere, then I can set them equal. 4 thirds pi r cubed is equal to 288 pi. I can divide both sides by pi. And to get rid of the 4 thirds being multiplied by this, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, or 3 fourths. 3 fourths. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side as well. On this side, those all cancel, leaving me with just r cubed. And on this side, 4 goes into that 144.72 times 3 is 216. That's what r cubed is equal to. To solve for r, I'm going to do the cube root. Cube root. When we do the cube root, depending upon your calculator, you may already have that button available. In this particular case, I don't see a cube root, so I can actually find that value by doing 216, press the y to the x button, and I can choose to do a fractional, 1 divided by 3, because raising it to the 1/3 power is the same as taking the cube root, in this case giving me 6. This particular calculator also has the cube root function up there, so I could do cube root second that, put a 3 on it, it tells me what's the cube root of 216, still gives me an answer of 6. So the radius is equal to 6. But that's not the end of the problem, because really we were supposed to find the surface area. I think it's important that we begin by writing what we're looking for at the top of the problem, so when we get to a solution we make sure that we've found what we're looking for. In this case it would be 4 pi 6 squared, so that would be 4 times pi times 36. Commutative property allows me to mix those up, so it's 4 times 36 times pi. 120 and 24 is 144 pi. Since these were centimeters cubed, my area is going to be centimeters squared. That's the surface area of my shape. Second one is no longer spheres, but it's challenging. It says a cylinder has a volume of 300 pi. Okay, so volume equals 300 pi, and a lateral area of 60 pi. Now, it'd be nice if I could like set these equal or something like that, but that's not going to work. Okay, so let's figure out what our formulas are, just like we did up top. The volume is equal to the big B, the area of the base, times the height. So 300 pi is equal to big B times h. That's an equation in 2 variables, b and h. I can't solve an equation with 2 variables unless I have 2 of those equations. So let's see what I get over here. 60 pi is equal to the formula for lateral area, which is p times h, perimeter times height. Well, I've got 2 equations now, but not in 2 variables. I've got 3 variables. I've got h, p, h again, and b. So that's not going to work. I need to get it back to 2 variables if I want to solve it with 2 equations. But wait a minute, this is a cylinder. And in a cylinder, I know that the base is a circle, and the area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. And the circumference of the circle is equal to 2 pi r. So I can plug both those in. 300 pi equals, instead of the big B, we're going to put the area of this particular base, which is pi r squared, times h. There's a pi on both of them, so I'll cancel. So 300 equals r squared h. And over here I've got 60 pi is equal to, instead of p, which is the perimeter around the outside of the base, I know that that's really called a circumference when it's a circle. So I'll replace p with 2 pi r times h. In this case I can divide by 2 pi. And I get 30 is equal to RH. So now I've got 2 equations in 2 variables. They're simplified. How do I solve them? I need to put them together somehow. Well, this is RH, this is r squared h. So really, I'm going to express this as r times RH. And that is the equivalent of r squared h. But now I've isolated RH, which means I can substitute, saying 300 is equal to R times 30. To solve for R, I'll divide by 30 and get that 10 is equal to R. Well, if 30 is equal to R times H, and R is now 10, 30 is equal to 10 times H. So H is equal to 3. That was the first part of the question, is what's the height? Second part of the question was find the surface area. Okay, so the surface area would equal lateral area plus 2 bases. In this case, we were given the lateral area, which was 60 pi. And we know that the bases, okay, this is a cylinder, so the bases are circles, so pi r squared. We found the radius is 10. Okay, so plus 2 times pi times 10 squared. So pi times 10 squared, that's 100 pi, times 2 is 200 pi, plus 60 pi is equal to 260 pi. This was in inches squared. Now we're talking about area measurement, so that's going to be inches squared. Okay, hope that helps.